Okay, Teresa again with Indigo Moon Arts. We're doing some experimental blending. This is fun. I'm just teaching here, showing you techniques and things. So we're kind of playing around a little bit. And I'm taking my caps. We've blended half this bottle, and I'm taking my paint caps that I've been using. I've been using a light chalk gray, like a beigey brown, and the black chalk paints to do my background of the bottle. And it needs to dry a little bit because I really can't move it. But now I'm doing some dabbing with a brush that is dry. It's wet, it's damp. It's medium damp. It's more dry than it is wet, I guess. And I'm just picking up some of the colors I'm already working with, and I'm doing a little dabbing to show you how we're making the bottle look aged. Now, one of the things, paint is always lighter when it's wet. The colors that I'm using are going to dry, and they're going to become a little bit more faint. So the stippling effect that you can see here, right? All right. That's going to dry, and it's actually going to look more blended. You're not going to notice the beige. But see what I'm doing? All I'm doing is kind of a little light stippling. This is where I start having fun. And I'm just going to do my thought process out loud. I just start adding stuff where I see. I'm experimenting. I'm like, oh, let's add a little bit of that brown. We have white spaces, or holidays I like to call them, up on the cap. So instead of using black or the gray that's already there, I thought I'd use the brown just to give it a bit of an aged. And I'm being imperfect. I'm letting some of the colors speak for themselves. Here, I just dipped my brush a little bit in the beige, and I'm stippling again. I'm going stipple, stipple, stipple to the front of the bottle. You can see it pulls some of that color through. Well, if I do it on the lid and the neck, it'll blend up in here a little bit better. So let's do some of that. Look, you just kind of work with whatever on the brush. The brush is gonna, as it dries, it's gonna lose some of the paint on it. So some areas will be richer, some will be thinner, but I'm going around the back, and all we are doing is creating texture. The texture is what makes something look more aged, right? And again, when it dries, it's not going to be as obvious that these are speckled spots. So I want to make sure there aren't any tiny little white spaces. Let's keep going around. Like, I need something here. By doing this exactly as I'm doing it, I'm taking away the lines. So now where there was a line between the gray and the black, subtle, but a color change, a gradient, when I go back in, and I'm using the paint that is already on the bottle, I'm not dipping my brush. I'm just, when I go over here, I'm picking up a little of that gray because it's wet, and then I'm putting it back in the medium gray to dark gray. And now that the brush has lighter paint on it, as I go into the black, it's carrying that over. But when I touch the black, which is wet, it's going to add black. So when I come back over to here, so you're basically mixing those colors that are already there, and I just took that off. This is the problem with teaching. I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally be doing, like I would be letting stuff dry and I wouldn't be touching it, but I am. So now I'm kind of happy with this, and I want to go with more gray. I just dabbed my brush because that's what was here. And by adding the light gray as I get close to the picture, and I'm going to pull that out, you're going to see it automatically, naturally starts to mix with the background. And we want a little bit of light. The sky is always lighter unless it's nighttime, right? So you can never go wrong adding a lighter color in the background, what would be in the sky area, because the sky area, you always have sunlight, right? Sunlight or moonlight even, it's always lighter at the top than it would be at the bottom. That's why bottoms are always dark and tops are always light. It's a natural thing the eye is used to seeing that you don't even realize you're processing. And see, artists pay attention to that. They pay attention to the details. Like we can tell how tall a person is just by looking at a photograph, because if you draw people, you're used to looking at how long their legs are from their knee to their ankle and stuff like that. Anyway, you can kind of see how this is already, the flavor of the bottle has already taken shape, and all we've been doing is stippling with a brush. Now that I'm leaving the sky area, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go to my gray, my we'll call it taupey, browny, beige, whatever. I have too much paint on the brush. If I put this right on that bottle, I'm going to get a blob. So I'm going to take it off. I'm dabbing my brush to take it off. I'm transferring the blob into my, that's the problem. I put these, usually I don't have the lids on until last, and I stick my finger in the bottle, and I'm not able to do that now because I didn't do it that way. But see, I'm putting a little bit of the beige, and can you see this? You really can't. Daggone it. Let's try it this way. This is a hard angle for me to paint though. So I'm going in with the beige, and by doing that, see how there's beige right here in this image? Well, by going in with the beige paint, I'm just naturally, automatically picking up the color from the background, which makes it appear to be blended. We're gonna go further into this detail in a little bit, but right now, yeah, this is really bad lighting. I need better lighting. Hopefully, see if you can see this better. I need to tip the bottle back, but again, the bottle's wet, so I'm gonna end up messing up the cap, but I'll go back and do it again. I just dipped my brush back in the brown. I tapped it to get the paint off of it so I know how much paint I have. And as I go here, I'm already starting to mix with the colors of the background. And don't worry if it's too much color when you first put it on, because you can blend it back out. But you can see here, here's some beige, so I'm actually gonna touch the picture with my paintbrush because the colors almost match, and that's going to pull the background out on the bottle. Same here, anywhere I see this beige that's almost the same color, I dip my brush in and get a little bit more, just the tip, tiny bit on the tip, see that little bit? And then I'm going right to the edge of the picture like this and pulling it out. It's okay. Over here, same, I'm finding those little spots of that same color as my paint, dipping just a few of those bristles on the edge in. If I think it's too much, I'll tap it, and there we go. And I'm going over top the image so that it blends in there. Same here, over top, I'm touching the image, and that's what takes the background away. So we're gonna do a little bit more. I don't want these videos to get too long. That way you can watch them in parts and pieces. And I know they get uploaded. This is just over 8 minutes. We're gonna come back to the same bottle. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit so I can handle it better and show it to you better. Thanks for watching.